I had a kidney transplant. I have this rare disease called FSGS where I lost my kidney and it ended my career in bodybuilding. And I thought I was going to come back, and fight. As back when K1 first started, I was like, oh my God, these guys are in for murdering, right? I can go back and fight now. And then I realized because my kidney is in my frontal, my new kidney is in my frontal left side, a good friend of mine, we were training. He's like, Flex, what happens if you catch a roundhouse or a straight side kick? And I'm like, well, I fight right leg forward anyway, so it's not going to happen. He goes, well, you're more susceptible to a roundhouse or just like a hook. And I'm like, God dang, it would kill me. Literally, I would die right there in the ring from that. So, that ended that. But I've been through a lot, 9 surgeries in 11 weeks for my kidney transplant that I literally almost died. I went in the hospital when I had my kidney transplant, and I was 268 pounds, and I can show you the pictures. And when I came out of the hospital, I was literally barely 190 pounds. I had to learn how to walk again. I was just atrophied everywhere. But my point is honestly, I don't know, other than the man upstairs. Boss, how did you learn to hit? Where did that drive come from to hit and fight so hard? Mr. Fry, where did your mental toughness come from? Butterbean, where in the hell did you ever think you could fight at? Rick, where did you ever come up with you can do what you did? I think it's truly our gifts. We all given these amazing gifts. And as far as losing my leg, it was a 2-year fight in a battle of trying to keep my leg. And it was a lot of surgeries and everything I've been through. So when I made the decision to go ahead and take my leg, I also made a decision. It's no way in hell that, I just have faith. I believe in a man upstairs and he leads me. And I just thought to myself, I was like, it's no way in hell that God allowed this little black kid from the ghetto who was homeless, who was beaten, who was raped, who was molested, who was hungry. There's no way that he allowed this little kid to become this global athlete and build this global name to then run and be a punk when something horrible happened, And before they even took my leg, I just made a decision. I was like, I'm going to find out how I can be a spokesperson for amputees, because to date, I don't think there's no one, and it's not a title that I want, but I don't think there's anyone who made such greatness in sports and then lost their leg in multiple different sports. So, man, I just get a lot of messages. I got millions of messages because it went global from other amputees from our boys and girls in the military. I got messages from people who didn't have any legs whatsoever. I got messages from people who lost an arm, and so many stories. I knew that I wasn't alone. I was like, honestly, we're wired like that, right? We beat our own ass a lot, and we're our worst enemy. And I'm the worst person to get in the ring with is myself. And I'm sure you gentlemen are the same way. I just said, how can I sit here and be a punk? There's other people out there who don't have no legs. At least I got one. I got both my arms. So how can I sit here and be a punk when I see these other people? There's this one kid that I follow. He's a double amputee and he's only 7. And I'm like, this kid will never be able to do the things I did, right? Or have the opportunity of doing the things that you did on that level. I mean, obviously, he can do great things. And that's his slogan. His mother always makes him say, what are you going to do? I'm going to do great things. So sure, but he's never going to be able to do it on our level. You know what I mean? I'm like, how can I sit up here and F and cry about it? Look what I got to do. Look where I came from, from a person who couldn't even feed himself to now being able to feed himself, from his sport. And there's this other young man. He's a man, but he, from the torso down, there's nothing there. He's this black kid, and he does all these sports. He's trying to get into MMA now. He's a world-class wrestler. Maybe you guys have seen him or followed him on Instagram, but he's a world-class wrestler in college, got a college scholarship to wrestle. And, so I'm like, how can I sit here and be a punk about it? Now, does that make it any easier? No, man. I mean, there's still times where I look down and it shocks me. It's like, wait, damn, it is true. I lost my leg, or times I'm going to get out of bed.
What happened? Why did you lose your leg? I don't know.
Right. So we're still actually, that's the reason why I'm down here in California right now. I drove down to Stanford and I was meeting with surgeons and stuff like that because we're still trying to find out. So finally, the verdict is up. And when I lost my leg, when I had my kidney transplant, a girl from my church ended up being my donor, and she was very small and very petite. And when we were on the table for the surgery, they discovered that her main artery to her kidney was too short, because I was a lot taller and a lot muscular. Like when I went into my surgery, like I said, I was 260 something pounds at about 4%. So what they decided to do is to take the main artery out of my left leg and stretch it and make it into an artery that's long enough for the kidney. So they then had to put a graft from my right leg to my left leg to feed it blood supply. Ironically, 2 days later, I actually end up getting a blood clot in my right leg that I end up losing later on. So the verdict is that graft that they put in my groin area to supply blood was never meant to last 19 years. It wasn't built for it. I'm a 19-year-old kidney survivor now. So it was never meant to last that long. So it sucks that they'll call you and tell you that your airbag doesn't work anymore in your car, but they won't call you and tell you that what they put in you, is not functional anymore. So I guess over time it started spitting out blood clots, hence the blood clot that caused me to lose my right leg. Wow. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out by clicking the subscribe, like, and get notifications buttons on this video so you don't miss any of my upcoming news clips, shoot interviews, or match footage. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Hannibal TV if you want to follow us on those platforms for instant updates.